There's some fuzz back here. What's up, guys?
There's some fuzz. What they say in the 70s? I smell fuzz when the cops are coming. The fuzz.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. Look at this. We got fuzz pedals.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about fuzz. So,
Yeah, let's hear about
what's
these
going
guys. on?
Another episode.
Fuzz,
some
man.
fuzz. It's fuzzy. Today's fuzzy. Let's have some coffee first to get us started.
And while we're doing this, these guys are going to hit subscribe.
Yes, and
Right.
hit that notification bell icon there too as well. That's cool.
And then we're going to talk about fuzz.
Right.
So, Joe, what do you know about fuzz?
Not a lot.
Yeah, I was never a big fuzz guy. I think of fuzz like, it's funny. One of the first guitar, I'm not going to say, the first time I was exposed to electric guitar was my uncle. And he was a big Beatles guy. Really cool guy, funny guy. He's a big Beatles guy, grew up in that era. And he always referred to the fuzz box.
Right.
And I would never really
Like,
quite
what are you
understood
talking
what he was
about?
talking
Right.
about, a fuzz box. But then as time went on, I realized that back then that was really the distortion of that generation, right?
Right.
It was the fuzz.
Exactly. And there's so many really cool videos on YouTube to check out. They tell you the history of the fuzz. JHS Pedals, they have awesome videos out there. Check them out. They're awesome. And their owner of the company, Josh Scott, he has done like a whole history of the fuzz on one of his videos. So if you want to know the history of the fuzz, go check out JHS Pedals and their vlogs, their vlog posts. What we're going to talk about today are two different fuzzes that are supposedly cut from the same type of stone.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say the
sure.
same stone, same type of stone, right?
They mimic each other type of thing?
Kind of,
Yeah.
right. So the first one we have there is a Fuzzface Mini, and this is a silicon version. So again, you can go back and look at all the history of fuzzes. When they first came out, they were created with germanium diodes or something. It's a transistor, right? It's what was used to create the fuzz effect in the pedal, and then they switched over to silicon somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s.
Right.
This particular Fuzzface is modeled after a 1970 fuzz.
Okay.
That was in the Dunlop shop.
Let me ask you this. I don't even know. Which one was I just playing through?
You were playing through this one, the
Okay.
Fulltone 70.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fuzz faces, they're in these giant enclosures, right? But the internals were small. If you ever opened up a fuzz face, a full-size one, it's small, right? So they, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago or so, they came out with the minis, which have the same internals in a small box, pedal board friendly, with an LED, because the originals I don't think had the LED and a power jack.
Yep.
So very usable, bring it into the modern sort of guitar playing world, pedal board world.
Yep.
More efficient. So this again is modeled after a 1970 silicon fuzz face.
And you got volume and you got
Fuzz,
right?
And
So-
most fuzz pedals back in that time only had those two. You had volume and you had fuzz, right?
Yep.
They were supposedly, again, I'm not a big fuzz guy, I don't know a lot about fuzz, but they were supposedly very temperamental and they all sounded different. And guys like Hendrix would go through dozens and dozens trying to find like the special ones, the one that sounded the best. And then they use those and tweak those. So this one, again, if you read up on the Dunlop site, it was created from one that they thought sounded really great from 1970. Okay. Coincidentally enough, Fulltone, which is sort of a boutique brand, handmade here in the U.S., came out with several years ago the 70 pedal, which again was modeled off of a 1970 Fuzzface, silicon-based. And the difference with this pedal is that it has a mids knob.
Yep.
Right? So I think traditionally when you use fuzz, it creates so much woolliness on the bottom end that in a band setting, you get lost. You get lost in the mix, especially if you have another guitar player on stage. So the addition of a mids knob allows you to poke through the mix.
Tweak it out a little bit,
Exactly.
For me, it sounds wobbly. That's like the only term I can come up with, especially when you're playing on the lower strings. It's
loose.
Yeah.
It's loose.
Yep.
It doesn't track
Roundish,
as well.
It's like,
right.
Yep.
Which is a great sound for certain styles of playing.
Absolutely,
for blues playing.
Yep.
Again, that Hendrixy style. It'll create more aggression. You can create a lot of aggression out of fuzz. But yeah, I mean, for traditional metal, not maybe the first choice.
Yeah, it's psychedelic rockish type of sound
it
to
is
me.
the acid rock or whatever that stuff used to be called.
Yep.
But I thought it was interesting that we have two from different manufacturers modeled after a 1970 Fuzzface, and we'll sort of listen to both and see what the differences are. and really see what that mids knob does for us, and sort of give our take on it.
Sure, let's do it. Yeah.
So we started out. You were playing through the 70. So why don't you check this one out, and I'll mess with the knobs a little bit here, right? So this is the Fuzzface Mini Silicon. Now, real quick, one thing I noticed with this particular Fuzzface, to achieve unity gain, I had to have the volume up at about, 2 o'clock or so, just to be at where unity was without the pedal turned on.
Sure.
Where this pedal has a lot more on tap. I think we're at 10 o'clock or so,
I see that.
to get at unity gain. So this one you could use to push your amp probably a little bit more if you back down on the fuzz, and you can push it almost like an overdrive.
Yep.
But again, let's check this out. I'm going to mess with the volume of the fuzz. What I'm hearing is so much compression happening.
It stifles the sound.
It stifles the sound. And just so everybody's aware, we're playing through a Marshall 20 watt, the new 20 watt JCM 800s, which are awesome amps. We're going to review that in another episode.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, but this, and if you just play straight up, there's not a lot of preamp gain going. Just break it up a little bit. Yeah, it's got a little bit of and these Fuzzfaces in 1970 or so, right? That's what guys were doing. They had, Marshalls basically,
they
old
were already
plexis,
breaking up a little bit
on 10, and then they'd throw this thing in front just to throw it over the top.
Yeah, sure.
But let me play it just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's check out the 70.
Turn this off, play that again.
Now, if we take the fuzz all the way down and we use this just to boost, kind of like an overdrive. Still adding a lot of woolliness.
I'm going with this guy all day.
Yeah, that mid's knob.
Yeah,
right,
it
makes
makes
a
all
huge,
the difference in the
huge
world.
difference.
It definitely takes that roundy, wobbly
Woolly,
thing. Woolly.
Mammothy.
Fuzzy. No, it's not fuzzy. Mammothy. Woolly mammothy. Yeah.
We're getting silly.
Yeah. I'm 100% going to go with this guy. I'm not a huge fuzz pedal fan.
Mm-hmm.
We've established that early. But that one to me just sounds night and day better than the round guy over there.
I agree. It's got more output. You
Yep.
can drive it more like an overdrive if you wanted to, if you have the fuzz down, but it still adds that fuzz woolliness.
Yep.
I think fuzzes in general, we probably should have had a single coil guitar here. I think they shine a little bit brighter with single coils
Sure.
because they're not being
Yep.
hit as hard,
Yep.
so they don't compress as much as we're hearing them compress
Yeah,
now because
yeah.
the high
Yep.
output humbuckers are hitting them really hard. But yeah, I mean, I would go with this one if I was going to use a fuzz.
Yeah. And I don't know that I would write a song with the fuzz pedal, but I might feature it in a part of a song,
Exactly.
right? Something
It's a
cool, like
tool.
add a little ambiance to
Right.
a section or something.
Exactly.
But
And that's no
yeah.
disrespect
No,
to
not
those
at all.
players that, fuzz is their whole world.
100%.
That's great. Our styles don't necessarily lend themselves to fuzz
Yep.
pedals. But yeah, if you use it as a tool, if your styles are, I guess, more similar to ours or, not necessarily enhanced by fuzz, if you use it as a tool, you can use it, to color
Yep.
parts in recordings.
100%. And I will definitely go for that guy should I have that need in the
Yes.
future.
Agree.
There you go.
All right, guys, let us know what you think.
All right.
See you next
soon.
time.
Peace.